guys, it's that time of week again where I get to ramble on about what I thought of this week's episode of Doctor Who. I'm wearing a wavy t-shirt to fit very well with the first thing I'm going to talk about. I'm going to jump straight in and talk about the waviness of the intro now. Right, first of all, I don't have a problem with this, but it's shorter than intros that we normally have. Normally they're a lot longer. You get a nice little extra, I'd say, 10-20 seconds before you get the episode title and you actually get into showing some stuff, but they've made it really short, and the only explanation I can have for this is that they want to make it they want to make the show fit in with like Netflix shows and that kind of thing, and basically how Netflix shows do it is they have a shorter intro so they can have more content packed into an episode. Well, for the most part, some series have really long intros, like the like Defenders series and stuff on Netflix have really long intros, but a lot of them don't. So it's cool to have a shorter Doctor Who intro this time around, and I don't know if that's going to change now that we've got the TARDIS back. Spoilers. I probably should have said that at the start of the episode. But yeah, now we've got the TARDIS back. I don't know if they're going to make it longer and add more to it, but I really liked it. And I said last week about how much I really liked the theme from what you could hear at the back end of the first episode. But now we get an extra bit at the start, which we've never heard before, which is how the tune actually starts and builds into itself. And there's a whole little like implosion sound that's at the beginning, and it's actually really cool. And it's definitely one of the best intro sequences we've had in New Who. My favourite intro is actually Capaldi's. So it shows how much I enjoyed this one, that I can say with confidence that it's one of the best, following on from my favourite. And it was short, but it was sweet. The effects used were fantastic. It was very minimalist, but wavy enough to be really interesting. The whole end to it, where it like just speeds up and zooms into this cascade of like basically hyperspace stuff, was really cool. And it just got straight to the point, and then just a nice plain title, and that's exactly what this show needed. So I'm really happy. The one thing I don't like was the Doctor Who logo coming up. I just felt that they could have had a TARDIS in there somewhere, but there isn't yet. But maybe that's what they're going to add to it next week, where like the TARDIS will come through at least at some point. I don't know. I hope it does, but again, I don't really mind that, because that just adds some more mystery to the show. I don't know. Right, now let's go straight in with the episode as well. So when we left off last week, we had the four guys, two girls, two guys, stranded in space, and we picked off straight from there. And wow, okay, so the first 5 minutes I thought were fantastic because of how they were shot. I thought you felt really claustrophobic, but at the same time that you were exploring a big space, and obviously because the characters are new to this kind of scene of being in a spaceship, so you felt like you were crammed in and having everything thrust upon you, but at the same time you were able to look around and see all this stuff. And they had really long shots, like really long clarifying shots of the characters trying to get to grips with their surroundings, and long pans that was swooping down to see what other characters were doing. They were really cool, and I thought that was fantastic. In this first bit, we got introduced to the two other main characters of this episode, and I felt I'm doing this straight after, I can't remember their names, but I felt that the guy kind of didn't fit in with how he acted for the rest of the episode. It seemed like he was able to be persuaded a lot easier at the start than he was like midway through, so I don't know what happened there really, but like, who cares. I thought it was shot fantastically, it was scored fantastically, and that was good. Then going down to the planet, right, the setting was amazing. How have they managed to pull this off? I guess it's with a lot of world travelling, but it looked amazing. The beaches, all the sand, the desert, the mountains in the background, the water, it all looks fantastic. Obviously, we get to the bit where the ship that the Doctor and Yaz is on crashes, and they obviously went to the Prometheus school of running away from things in that situation. But I thought that scene was fantastic, how they used the CGI in a way where that's not the main focus of the scene. The main focus of the scene was the characters, which meant when the background went out of shot, that's saving budget, but it also means that if the CGI isn't perfect, it's not being focused on, so you don't notice. And I felt it looked fantastic. You're focusing on the characters. You've got this horrific thing happening in the background, and it worked so well. That's honestly the key scene for me was that scene in how Doctor Who's come about. Normally, when something big happens, they like to focus on that. But here it was focusing on the characters in front of this, and keeping the background slightly out of focus with a few little changes of focus, and I thought that was fantastic. Really, really well done. And that made me smile. I smiled a lot in the first 20 minutes, and for the entire episode for that matter, but it was the title sequence, the long shot, and that specific shot that got me. Story-wise, again, I think it was a solid story. I was really surprised when they brought back the name of the villain from the first episode. That was quite interesting. I don't know if that's... They said there weren't going to be any story arcs, but I don't know if that's going to actually be the case. Because it seems like they've used them in 2 episodes now, and it's very completely up to chance, really, that they've gone to a random planet that just so happens to be influenced by them. So I'm not sure how that works, but I think the story was great. I really got really into the idea of there being a giant space race, kind of like the Dakar Rally. I think that's how the Doctor puts it. And it just really good. And me being me, I'd like to see more of that kind of thing, more of that race. I feel like that'd be really cool, and see what other things they'd actually have to do to get to that situation, be that far through. That'd be a really cool series to look at, but I don't think they'll go back to that anytime soon. I mean, it'd be cool in a couple of seasons' time they go forward or go back and see the first ones happening or whatever. There's definitely some room for some exploration there. The whole, what I'm going to call it, is the beach diner scene. That set looked amazing. It looked so good and almost out of place on a Doctor Who set, just because it looked so movie quality, if you like. And I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I know it's kind of like a thing you have to do. There's some robots and they're going to shoot you. But I feel like they use them well by just not using them that much. And I thought the whole Ryan thing with shooting him, calling his Call of Duty skills to mind, was really funny. Maybe a bit overacted when he realised he couldn't reload, but still, I found that really funny and I laughed. Maybe forced myself to laugh a tiny bit, but for the most part, I thought it was really funny. Character-wise, I think Yaz had a quiet episode. I guess this was more on the front of being just getting everyone used to it. Kind of the Doctor's episode in that it's just focusing on getting to the TARDIS because no one else really knows what's going on. Yaz definitely had a quiet episode. Graham did some bits, he was really the voice of reason, which is surprising. He's obviously taking after his wife very early on. That's quite nice to see. Ryan struggling with ladders. I completely forgot he was dyspraxic, so it took me a second to realise why he wasn't enjoying that, but that was good to see that they're building off of it. The Doctor's encouraging him, saying how amazing he is to be doing this and still be doing it, so that was really cool. And, well, resolution-wise, obviously the TARDIS is going to show up. TARDIS isn't just going to leave there. I thought the whole ending of removing the other 3 characters was really cool. Just take us home. Okay, we'll take both of you, and then what about the others? No, click, gone. That was fantastic, and it really worked with how rushed, the kind of race feel the episode had, and describing this trans-solar system or trans-galaxy race. And I thought that was really, really well done, to just get rid of the characters and just take them out of the equation forever, because sometimes you get it where they just try and wrap it up too happily and stuff, but here we don't actually know what happens afterwards. That was quite good. But yeah, so TARDIS comes back. Jodie's all excited, or the Doctor's all excited because we've been redecorated. And then you go inside, and oh my lord, this TARDIS looks fantastic. It's different. It's so different, and it looks really. It kind of reminds me of Tennant's TARDIS when it was the big wide one, where it was just really big and dark and metally. But then it's got these giant pillars of crystal which look fantastic, and they actually remind me of the spaceship in the Lodger, where it had the big spiky supports in the middle. The TARDIS console looks really cool. It had a custard cream dispenser. What more do you want? And all the little dials and little buttons look fantastic, and then Can I press this? No, you can't. And it's just amazing, and I love the relationship that the Doctor has with the TARDIS, and I love seeing that come back. And she's obviously it was so heartwarming to see the Doctor reunited with the TARDIS, and it really, really worked. I thought that the whole series was going to be chasing the TARDIS, but I guess you can't really have Doctor Who without the TARDIS, can you? Not for a long period of time. So that was really, really good. Obviously, custard cream dispenser. I want a custard cream dispenser right here. Where is it? Come on, Uni, sort yourself out. Give me a custard cream dispenser, please. And we got a look at the next episode, which is going to be just amazing. I actually can't wait. So, all in all, this episode, I don't know if I preferred it to the first episode, but I definitely think it was as good. So, like, this series has gone off to a strong start. Much like I would say Series 10 did, with the pilot maybe being a bit iffy, but it was introducing us to a new character, so that was good. And then I actually really liked Smile, that episode, so yeah, shove that up your asses. So I can kind of tie them in. I think those two episodes were good, and the first two of this series have been fantastic, so I'm really excited to see where we go from here. We've got the TARDIS back, we've got a whole new crew in the TARDIS, and it's just brilliant. Oh yeah, and the TARDIS has the actual box in it. That's cool. So you actually have three doors or three panels as you're going in, rather than just a door, which is really nice to see. I can't remember if that's ever been done before. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, those are my opinions. I don't want to go on for too long because I'm just excited and happy to see that this episode's been really good as well, or at least for me anyway, from the general consensus and live reactions of other people I've seen and from friends. They all seem to have really enjoyed it as well. The new theme, the new TARDIS, the new character chemistry, the sets, the cinematography, all fantastic. So hopefully they keep going with that. But let me know what you guys thought of the episode in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and my opinions, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, because I'll talk about every episode every single week. I also do daily vlogging if you're interested in that. That should also be in the description in a link. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week for the next episode of Doctor Who. Man, it's already been 2 episodes. I do not want this to end. I'm in a world of joy right now, and it's helping me deal with uni very much. But yeah, see you guys next week. And until then, take care. Bye.